It's not uncommon to meet people who want to move to New Zealand. I mean, why would you not want to live in New Zealand? But what is uncommon is when you meet people who are later on in life that have spent all their life living in the United States. They've got a home, they've got a job, and they're at that age where there is nearly a cutoff point where it's going to be yes or no.
It didn't just happen. You made it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
It didn't always feel like we were moving ahead.
No.
And I won't lie, the whole age thing terrified the hell out of me.
In this week's episode, you are going to meet Chris and Hope. Chris and Hope are members of our private NZ Ahead Slack community, and they are inspiring. They're going to share everything they did to move from the United States of America to start their life again in the second half of their life in New Zealand. So let's jump on in and meet Chris and Hope. NZ Ahead, coming to you from Tauranga, New Zealand.
Got it.
Chris and Hope, welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. We are absolutely thrilled to have you both here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
You are long-term members of our famous Slack community, so we know you very well. But for those who don't know you, who are you? How did you come to be in New Zealand, and where have you come from? Let's have a little bit of your backstory.
I guess I'll start when I'm a software engineer. We were living in the Seattle area in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. Although we met in Florida, and that's where I wasn't born there, but that's where I lived most of my life, was in Florida. But we're from the Seattle area. I'm a software engineer, and Hope.
I'm a retired fill in the blank.
A fill in the blanker. That's a good title. That I like that. So you've come. Go on.
I was just going to say, in terms of coming over, it kind of all started November of 2024. I wonder what happened then. When Trump first came in 2016, we since we live so close in the Seattle area to BC, we kind of talked a little bit about maybe moving to Canada at that point, because we like, oh, this is not going to be good. And Hope didn't know this till just 10 minutes ago when I told her, but I said at that time, I actually did start researching it, and I thought, oh my God, moving to another country isn't like moving to another state. This is a whole different thing. And we didn't really go any further. We just figured, well, we'll hold out for 4 years, and we did. But then this last time, literally the day after the election came, and I looked at Hope as a kind of a joke, and I said, Australia or New Zealand? And having no context with what I was talking about, she just says,
New Zealand, duh. Like, it wasn't even a question of which one.
So we started doing some research and said, okay, if we're really thinking about moving, let's make sure New Zealand's actually the right place. And after doing lots of research, we still decided it was the place we wanted to go. Kind of the short version.
Right.
So you never been to New Zealand before?
Nope. And that'll be part of our story when I talk about it. That we weren't able to even make a trip ahead of time to even check it out.
Yeah,
and there's timing reasons about that.
Of all the countries in the world, then why would have you chosen New Zealand over everywhere else? Like you say, Canada, even the UK, you could have gone to because I know they're English speaking. But what was the main reason?
The biggest thought behind it for me was that, especially the larger countries like Canada and Australia, are really having the same problems that we were kind of not liking in the United States.
Right.
Okay.
So it was kind of almost on purpose that we were looking at maybe smaller places that were going to be less likely to have that problem.
Right.
And we wanted English speaking, and we didn't want too close to any mainland, because who knows what may happen in the world.
One of the primary reasons for English speaking is because I wear hearing aids, and I figured, fast talkers are hard enough, but if it's in another language, it's going to be probably 3 times as hard for me to pick up another language with my hearing aids.
Yeah. And another language it's never easy to do. I know one time we wanted to move to France, didn't we? Yeah, but it was just like, it's such a barrier. It really, really is. Like, you know.
And I want to talk to you later in the episode about the fact that although New Zealand is an English speaking country, it is vastly different to the United States. And I want to talk to you about that and how the differences you found since being in New Zealand. But rewinding back to you. So there you are. Do you mind me asking how old you are? What age you were when you were thinking about moving over to New Zealand?
See, 2024, I had just turned 54.
Right.
And
okay.
50 years old.
Yep.
And I was 58.
58. Right. Okay. So what is the cutoff date for, if you want to move to New Zealand, what's the cutoff date for age?
You cannot be 56. So you have up until the day before your 56th birthday. So at that point, I was like, I have a limit. I'm sorry, 55th birthday.
Right.
So is it 55th or 56th now? I forget.
You can be 55.
Okay. It's up to your 56. So essentially I had a 2-year window to get things done in. And when everyone was talking about how difficult it was to get a job from abroad, I thought, I don't have time to dawdle here. If we're going to do this, we have to do it now. Yes. And I was kind of thinking as Australia as a potential backup plan until I looked at their rules and saw that their cutoff age was 45. So wow. I was already long gone.
Yeah. And again, for those people who don't know, the partner of someone coming. So this is such a good story. And this is what I loved about your guys, you two, your story. We've watched it unfold and it seems like everything has just gone bang, 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 which we're going to talk about in a minute. I won't race ahead, but going back to Hope, is there a cutoff age for the partner? Or is it just the person who's going to be getting the visa?
It's just the person that's getting the visa.
Got it. Right.
The partner, honestly, doesn't have any effect.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. But at the same time, you're in your 50s. I mean, I'm 55 and change isn't easy, is it? It's not like, oh, yeah, well, let's just go there and try that. How did you, when Chris said to you, okay, we're moving, were you all in or was there any doubt of like, well, hang on a minute, what? How did you feel about all that?
I was totally all in.
I think she was actually more in than I was.
Was she?
We started to talk about it, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
I think from my point of view, because I had researched Canada before, I knew how crazy and much work it was going to be. And I wasn't sure if she understood, like, I know you say you're all in, but this is going to be a lot of work. I mean, this is going to be like heads down for the next year.
Absolutely.
I had moved around several times willingly by myself throughout the United States. So moving itself was no big deal. We didn't have any family close by anyway. So honestly, we could have been anywhere and it would have been the same outcome.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. So did you just look at it as like a big adventure?
Sort of, but at least for me, I said, especially at our age, that there's no way that we're going to do this and then do it again. So my thought was, if we're doing this, this is a permanent thing. Even if we don't like it, this is the last 20, 30 years of our life.
Yeah. Is that what you told yourself? Did you say that?
We both knew that was going to be the case.
Right. Okay.
I didn't look at it so much of an adventure because to me, that means short term. I looked at it more as a journey, like, okay, these are the red hoops that we have to jump through. And once we get through that, then we can start the rest of our lives.
I mean, it was a big move, but I think we both knew that we weren't liking the way things were going where we were, and we wanted a move, a change.
Yeah.
I love that. And I really love it's not an adventure, it's a journey. And this is why I've always been drawn to you two, because you're of that age where you haven't got your young kids. You're not in your 30s, even your 40s. It's like a big life change move for you. And I don't know, normally people come over to either start a family or be with people who are already in New Zealand. So it's such an inspiring story of yours that you set your mind to something and it was like, right, that's what we're going to do. I personally think that's incredibly brave. So can we just go back and you can start to tell us how you even did this? Because how do you move from the United States at your age to move to New Zealand when you haven't got a job and all the rest of it? Let's hear how you did it.
I think in a former life, I was a planner.
Were you?
Chris tends to over-research things, which work to our benefit in this case.
I think what she's trying to say is it doesn't always work to our benefit.
No. So where did you start? Where did you start, Chris?
I think the beginning was because, actually, I can go before that. Before even NZ Shores, because we found NZ Shores from you guys, listening to some of your podcasts and some of your different things. It kind of started with just first researching, was New Zealand the place we wanted to go? And a part of that was a lot of researching other countries and other expat experiences and other people talking about how to do it. After getting through a lot of those, YouTube, man, has been all we've done for 2 years now.
Throughout the process, we have easily watched 200 YouTube videos on different aspects of living here.
I'm not sure if there's a video with New Zealand in the title we haven't seen. So,
oh,
that's how we stumbled across you guys' videos. And I think it all started with I contacted you, Liz, by email. I think on one of your videos or in the description or something, you had your lizdeacle.com. And I think somewhere on one of those, I found a contact and email address and said, you keep talking about the Slack group, which I was familiar with Slack. I've used it before, but I couldn't figure out how to get there. I guess I didn't understand what you were saying on going to this thing and signing up. And that's kind of how it started. And through the Slack group, we started hearing about NZ Shores, and that's really where it started. Is we contacted NZ Shores to determine our eligibility, see where we were.
Right. Okay.
Was that an easy process? Because, I mean, like you say, right on the cusp of the age, what did they come back with?
They basically didn't even mention the age. They said, it was fine. I don't think any discussion was ever mentioned that it was something to worry about. Maybe because, technically it was still 2 years.
The biggest thing...
It was scared for me, but...
The biggest thing, as far as eligibility was concerned, is that what Chris does, computer-wise, is on the green list. Mm-hmm. And also he's got an advanced degree.
Right.
So when they talk about that point system, I think you have to have 6 points. And I had 5 out of 6 points just from my career and degree.
Right.
It's brilliant, isn't it? When you look at the points and you're like, oh, I've got that one. I've got that one.
Yeah, got that.
Get a few extra if I don't live in Auckland. That'll do.
Experience. Yeah. that's a few more points. Yeah.
So the eligibility we found out was, we could do this. It was a long process.
And there were kind of 2 factors into the reason why we couldn't come and do a visit first. And we were actually talking about it in the beginning. We made the decision the beginning of November of 24. And we were thinking about maybe trying to get a visit in, maybe just around the mid or end of December. But Hope was having a shoulder replacement surgery on January the 2nd, I think. Mm. And we weren't able to get it before that. Okay, well, now we can't go anywhere for, a couple of months until recovery from that is complete. And then by that point, we're no way do we have time to continue is this the right place with the age limit? So that was kind of the 2 reasons behind the, just coming without even seeing it.
It was definitely a leap of faith. And I guess we had faith.
We did it. I feel like we did enough research that we felt fairly comfortable that it was going to be a good fit for us. It seemed like culture-wise, it felt like a really good fit. One of my slight concerns, if anything, as you can see, kind of a bigger guy, and I did visit the UK once about 20 years ago, and man, things were so tiny there. It was a difficult moving around sometimes. I remember almost getting stuck in a shower once. I'm like, I really hope they're not tiny like the UK.
Yeah.
Everything's Diddy in the UK, isn't it? It's so small.
Yeah, because all the
It's like a
original
little toy
houses were
town.
small, and then even the new houses that they build are still small.
Yeah.
You know, there are big houses. In the 1950s and 60s, they kind of built bigger houses, and then in the 70s, they started to get smaller. The 80s, even smaller still. So, yeah. And it goes with the roads. They're like all small.
I remember driving the little bit when I was there, just a tiny bit, and being in a car park at the hotel that was so small, I had to do like a 57-point turn just to be able to get the car out of the parking place.
Yeah. So, Chris, are you self-employed, or were you self-employed in the States, or did you have did you work for a company?
I work for Boeing.
Okay.
Right.
So what did you do with the job? How did you find a job in New Zealand, and what did you say to the company when you were leaving?
Well, I didn't tell Boeing anything until I had a job, obviously. In the States, we only, and I'm not even sure if it's really a requirement, but we only are only supposed to give 2 weeks notice.
Right.
So, it wasn't until the end, and I didn't even tell them why I was leaving. I just, basically said I was going for another opportunity. And in terms of getting here, that's kind of part of the serendipity list. But it turns out, I'll give you a little hint, that the person that I first interviewed with at the company I'm now working for, who's kind of my lead or manager now, she's also in the Slack group.
That's right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Right. I didn't know that.
So how did that work? What happened?
So when I was looking for the job, at first I did just a little bit of mild checking just to kind of try to get a feel for the opportunities that were out there. And I put in a few applications. This would have probably been earlier in the year, 2025, maybe like January, February, March timeframe. Didn't get any bites, but I was just, getting a feel for what was there. And everyone I had seen talked about using Seek. So I was using Seek. And at the time, I was also figured as a software engineer, the opportunities are going to be only in the big cities. So I was limiting my search to I figured the 4 biggest cities, which were, Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, and Hamilton. And it turns out I ended up getting the job in the 5th biggest city of Tauranga.
I say, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
We didn't say that at the beginning. Whereabouts are you in New Zealand? So you're in Tauranga.
No, that was a question I was going to ask you. Was purely where you ended up just because of the job, or did you have your heart set somewhere else?
We were kind of pushing towards Christchurch, is where we were kind of looking at.
What was the reason for that?
We knew from the beginning, wherever the job offer came from, that's where we would go.
Yeah.
Because we heard you guys say a million times, just get the job and move if you want to once you're here.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
it. That's it. Just get yourself your feet on the ground. Right. Get some experience in the country, and then you can always think, I can move in 2 years. But half the time, once you get somewhere, you're like, actually, this is all right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like we're here, this is a nice area. We like it.
Yes, it's a very, very desirable area, isn't it? It's lovely. You chose well. You landed well, and we want to.
It was chosen for us well.
Yes, yeah. And we want to talk to you about your serendipity list in a minute. But before it leaves my brain, I just want to say, as you were saying that about how you would go, like we had that attitude too of, we'll just go wherever the job is, and then we will make it work. And then if we want to move, we will. And I don't know if this is an age thing or a personality thing, but I said this to you in a private message the other day on Slack. I really see me and Brian and you two a lot, because you have that same attitude of, we're going to make it work, whatever. So and drive. And it's really lovely to see, because I think many people expect it just to fall into their lap. Like, like if it's not working, why isn't it working? And you're a prime example of going for it and not letting go of the bone until you've chewed through, sort of thing. It's like, it's really, really lovely to witness. So can you tell us? No, please go ahead.
The word is stubbornness.
Stubbornness, determined.
I'm not sure if we're always that way, but I think in this case anyway, we wanted it so badly that once we made that decision, there was no turning back, and it was every single moment of every single day for like a year was nothing if it's not driving us forward for that goal. I mean, I don't think we've ever been so driven for anything in our lives.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I remember we do a monthly live Zoom for people who don't know. And I just remember you coming on and it was just like, wow, you seem like you guys are going to have a mountain to climb at the age that you are. And we'd do a month and it was like, you did so much in a month. It was like, oh. And then the next month they'd be like, oh, these guys are going to be here before you know it. Like, and it was so, the way you just went bang, 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 and just made those things happen. It didn't just happen. You made it happen.
Yeah.
It didn't always feel like we were moving ahead.
No.
And I won't lie, the whole age thing terrified the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was something that I could not help with.
Yeah.
So when you say it terrified the hell out of you, why did that terrify you? What was it?
Well, because everybody had been saying just how hard and long it takes to find a job. And thinking, I've got basically a 1.5 year window here from the time I'm finally getting down to the point where I can actually start focusing on getting the job. I've got a 1.5 year window, and everyone's saying, oh, it takes at least a year.
Yeah, we've been hearing about people submitting 200 plus resumes and not getting jobs.
I mean, technically speaking, although I submitted probably 20 resumes, this job that I got was the very first one I had an interview with, that I got the interview.
Right.
So the job that you got was the very first job that you had the interview with?
Yeah, the very first one that offered me an interview, I got the job.
Right.
Wow, that's great.
That's great, yeah.
Talk to us about your serendipity list. What was that?
So it starts with an old Taco Bell commercial from the States about 20 years ago. There was a sports announcer who he just had this, I love the way he said it. He'd say, "Serendipity, baby." And it just always stuck with me. And we had so many things, like just amazing, lucky things that we weren't even planning or trying. Sometimes it just fell into our lap. We started saying, man, that's just like serendipity. And we started making it. I mean, after like the 4th or 5th one, like, we got to keep track of these. So this is just insane how many things are falling into our lap. So we started making a list.
We tend to be people that really do look on the optimist side of things. We did start this list because there were so many pieces of our story that fell into place that we feel we didn't have any control over, but they were all good things.
Somebody who's not an optimist, I thought these were so out of the ordinary that I needed to track.
Right. So you've got one side saying, oh, it's meant to be, this is this. And then you, Chris, saying, did you not believe it? Or did you just think, oh, this is just like a fluke?
No,
or?
I have a background in testing, and it's my nature to be very antithetical to everything and always assume it's not going to happen the way you expect it. And most of my life experiences vet that quite well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So what was the biggest thing that happened that you just thought, oh my, this is it. This we've got to go. Like this is the universe screaming at us to go. What was the biggest thing on that list, would you say?
Biggest thing on that list, I would say for me, was the fact that my father died about 6 months before we made the decision to move.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And when my father died, I went back down to Florida. My brother and I were cleaning out the house, and because we were looking for, my brother swears he had a will. We were trying to find it. He didn't have much money. It didn't matter. We were just trying to see what his last wishes were. We never found the will, but what we did find were my adoption papers, because I was technically adopted. He was my stepfather who adopted me, who married my mom later. And that would have been needed for NZ Shores for, the immigration application. Mm-hmm. And had all that not happened, I doubt my father even remembered it was there. He would have not have known where it was. Mm-hmm. We would have never found it. I would have probably spent, who knows, weeks or months trying to figure out how to get this from, the court system or something.
Yeah, I would definitely say that was the biggest thing. And I don't even think Chris knew that existed.
I didn't. I didn't even think of it.
Saved us probably 3 months going back and forth with the county that Tampa, Florida was in. So we didn't have to do that. He had the actual court papers.
That's fantastic.
That's huge, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You wouldn't think that, would you? And then all of a sudden you stumble across them. Wow.
So were you renting a house or did you own a house in America?
We owned a house. And so we relate very much to everybody trying to do the selling off and downsizing. And yeah, we went through all that. We
went through all that in a very short period of time.
And the older you are, the more you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what did you do with all your stuff?
Well, we look at it from, again, you guys' video when you actually sign up and you have the video series over on the other website. Mm-hmm. You guys were talking about arguing between, taking all and taking nothing. We were very much having those same arguments. I was team take nothing. She was team take all.
But at times we switched.
Okay.
So eventually we kind of kept going until we met in the middle, and we finally decided we're taking one container. One and only one container. So we need to pare down to what will fit in one container.
So what's the size container? 20 foot.
20-foot shipping container.
So, and another part of the serendipity list is just as we were selling the house and we were going to have to find temporary living just for however long it took me to find the job at that point. A good friend of mine who had gotten divorced the year before and was in an apartment had got a new girlfriend that was now his fiance again. And he's like, he was moving in with her, but he still had the apartment. And he's like, you guys want the apartment? Take it over.
Bliss.
So we kind of on the slide took over his apartment. And here's the best part. This was an apartment that had a garage unit. And I taped out the exact dimensions of the container so we knew exactly the size we needed to fit everything in. And so we all had the container, ready to go like months before we actually left.
That's real good planning, isn't it? So you sold your house before you had a job offer. Is that right?
Yes.
How did that feel?
We were scary.
A little scary, but we were so committed that I had, we're going, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And how long have you lived in that house?
We'd have to move and buy a house somewhere, whatevs.
Right.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in that house that you sold in America? How long had you been there?
5 years.
And it was a brand new house when we bought it. So, that was hard because it was a big yard. It was a nice big fenced yard for the dog. It was a great house. It really was.
Wow.
Did you bring your dog to New Zealand?
No, and that was actually kind of another serendipity item, is that our dog was kind of old and she never would have been able to make the journey. We would have had to hold off, but she ended up finally dying just like a month or two before we made the decision.
I think she helped us in her own way.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I do too. Yes, yes, I agree.
That was a very beloved dog and we would not have left without her.
Oh. Yeah. And that was her way of just saying, right, I've got you to where you need to be. Yeah. You're on your own now, guys. Off you go. Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous.
But you miss them like that, don't you, when they go?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how long did it take then from the time you decided to move to New Zealand to you being in New Zealand? What was the time frame for that?
Yeah, as in when you actually started. How many, sorry?
10 and a half. Not that I was counting or anything.
Was that before your shoulder operation? Are you counting that as well?
No, well,
The
I'm
decision to go
counting
was
from the beginning of November
24.
when we made the decision.
well, that would be almost 12 months because we got here at the end of September.
Yeah, that's 10 and a half.
How does 10 and a half make almost 12 months?
Yeah, I know.
It's not
It does.
far off
It just does. It just does, Chris. I'm.
It's not logical, mate.
White
Don't worry
math.
about that.
I'll calculate it later for you.
So was there anything, I know the politics and all that going on in the States, was there anything that you just thought when you were thinking of moving your whole life to the other side of the world, having never been to the country of New Zealand, and you're there on your own, was there anything that you thought, oh my God, I don't want to leave that. I'm worried about leaving X. Was there anything?
Each of us have some older family in terms of aunts and uncles. It's like, well, if something happens to them, there's nothing that we can do.
That was really more her side. My father died. I only have a couple of old aunts and uncles, but ones I wasn't super close to anyway. So, but the only one I was really kind of concerned leaving for the most part was my brother and his family.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we didn't have any family even on our side of the country when we lived in Seattle. I have a sister that moved to London 40 years ago. So leaving the country and moving somewhere else is not new to my family.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really helpful, isn't it? You know, when you're surrounded by
Yes.
people who know about this stuff and they're all like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
normal.
I did that.
Yeah, it's really, really helpful. It really is. So
Of
can
course,
we go?
her sister did it when she was so young that it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I
She
know.
was able to
Yeah.
answer questions.
I mean, you
It's
got nothing to take with you at that age.
No, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Just a
Yeah.
backpack normally, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can we fast forward now to you arriving in New Zealand? So you went straight to Tauranga, did you? You got the job offer and you went straight down there.
More or less. We did spend a few days in Auckland when we touched down just to get our IRD numbers. We'd already pretty much purchased the car ahead of time.
Of course you had.
We had a brand
Of course
new
you
car
had.
waiting for us.
Was it
Selling
taped
our
out on the
old cars
driveway when
and-
you got there?
Yeah, we literally like hours after we got off the plane, we're picking up our car because we
Somebody over plans.
Yeah, that's good organization, and it didn't fit in the garage, just like the shower.
well, it was one of those where we knew what we wanted. We looked around. It was a Toyota Highlander. I used to have a Toyota Highlander, so I knew I would like the car. It was probably my favorite car I ever had. I looked and I couldn't get as good a price as I wanted, but selling our previous cars in the States, I figured we have enough to just get a new car, no messing around with this warranty of fitness or worrying about a used car not being in good shape. Just get a new car. And because again, we're planning on making this a permanent move. There's no reason to, try to do things temporary.
Yeah.
So a couple of days in Auckland to get that done, hit Costco, stock up, and head to our Airbnb in Tauranga.
And
Yeah.
set up our bank account and, like Chris said, the IRD number. By the time we left Auckland, I think we both felt like we were pretty well set to begin life and Chris's job.
Yep.
Right.
And I remember, Chris, you, because Hope came on the live Zoom on the Slack and you were at work and you'd only just arrived. You pretty much went straight to work as soon as you arrived, didn't you?
I think we arrived on...
We got there on a Monday morning and he started the following Monday.
Yeah. That's soon.
That's quick.
That is quick. Yeah.
It is.
So, sorry, Bri.
Yeah. So, I mean, you secured a house in Tauranga, but so how did you choose that? How did that work out for you? Because that's not easy when you're living in Seattle.
No, we just had an Airbnb at first.
Right.
And then it took us we had an Airbnb for a month. I think we found this place on about the third week.
Oh, right.
And is it a
This is
long-term
over
rental you're in?
Papamoa.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. Is it nice? It looks nice.
Yeah.
Looks lovely. It looks lovely and bright.
Compared to a lot of the houses that we kind of seen around here, it's definitely a little bigger. It's trying to think in square meters now because it's
not easy,
170 square meters. So, by most of the ones we've seen, it was a decent size.
That's a good size.
We had looked at a couple different rentals, and the others that we looked at were definite no's when we walked in the front door. And this one, which
really old, really small. They seemed like they were kind of really drafty and damp.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
This one was the first that we saw, and we didn't know what others looked like. So this was in the maybe pile, and then it very quickly went to the top.
Right. And how old's the house that you're in now?
20 years?
At most, it's not horribly old. It's decently new.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts when you got off the plane and into a country that you've never ever been to before in your life, and you're living here now, and there's no going back? And how did you feel? What was your initial reaction? You are here because you love New Zealand.
You might be moving to New Zealand,
Living in New Zealand, or you might just spend your days dreaming of visiting this gorgeous country. Because we love New Zealand as much as you do, we have compiled a short and very unique 5-day video series showcasing life in New Zealand, what it's really like. These videos are real, they are exclusive, and best of all, they're absolutely free. So if you would like to view New Zealand from the inside out and find out what life is really like down here, sign up now, and every day for 5 days we will send you a personal 3-minute video showcasing some brilliant aspect of life in New Zealand. You are gonna love it. Go to www.nzahead.com/free. We can't wait to share those videos with you. Okay, let's get back on with the show. How did you feel? What was your initial reaction?
High fives. Lots of high fives.
Oh, really? Oh, lovely.
The biggest shock that I think we had was the lack of shock.
Yeah.
Right.
There was no culture shock. It just seemed like the United States with a little bit of a different accent for the most part.
Is that
they
right?
drive on the left and they have a slight accent, but it seemed like culturally it felt very, very similar. Like it wasn't any big shocks that I was, because when I went to the UK, I had a big culture shock. I remember when I went there thinking, oh, they're just going to have an accent and drive on the left, but they're just like that. It's just like the US. And it was like such a culture shock. I was way different than I was expecting. I was like, no, this is European. And I was expecting to get the same thing here, and I didn't.
Yeah.
The lack of culture shock was a surprise in itself.
Yeah. Do you know, we were talking about that just
we
today,
were.
weren't we? It's funny that,
we
isn't
were.
it?
We were talking about
Canadians and Americans and Kiwis got that positivity and that I don't know.
Lightness.
Yeah. I mean, being English, I'm not slagging England off, but there is a difference in culture when you're there. It's completely different.
It is.
Without sort of wanting to say, it's like, oh, it's going down, but it's like, I don't know, just that positivity. I find my brother lives in Florida. You go there and it's like, everyone's like, hey, how you doing? That sort of thing. And it's just that, I don't know, I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It's just
so true. Yeah.
You can do anything that you want. It's not been done before. It's not, like you say, European. We said it once in Italy. Oh, I could live in Italy. But then it feels like everything is done and you can't buy that little section of land over there because you're not allowed to build on that sort of thing. Just those little things.
That's really interesting that you should say that. And I'm so glad you did, because we as Brits, we tend to warn people, oh, be careful when you come to New Zealand. It's a big culture shock, because for Brits, we personally think it is. So I'm so glad you pointed that out, because no other American has ever said that. So do you just feel like, just tell me then, like,
there's a lightness.
Yeah.
Like there's not any cloud or any politics holding you down.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like in the States, it just feels like politics is in the background of every single conversation these days. And you have to like almost talk to everybody with the, ooh, where do they stand? Are they my friend or my enemy? Rather than just talk to the person and forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that,
I would say like the shocks that I got here, and this was the trading the big things for the small things, and this is where I say it was all trivial, the small things. So we traded the big things like being able to have national health care, being able to go out in public and not worried that somebody's packing a gun, and all the safety concerns and the craziness that we have in the States on a everyday basis. But the small things are, my God, every sink in this country is this big. And paper towels are just horrible here, and they're not like, I miss my bounty paper towels. And
yeah, just like the little things that you're like, this is all I've got to worry about.
Where on earth are you shopping, Chris?
Everywhere. I can't find anything worth any good paper towels.
I think there's one paper towel manufacturer, and they make them for all, so they're all a bit not great.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You should say
it's
that.
like a lot of the smaller products that are like what I think of in the States as dollar store versions.
Yeah.
I definitely have to remind myself that we did trade the big things for the little things, because the paper towels and the sinks and there's no garbage disposal. It's like, okay, we can work around that. That's not a big deal.
Putting up with trivial things to have the big things in life that matter be where you want them to be.
Do you know what the things that you're talking about? And I miss so much when I came to New Zealand back in 2009, and it takes about 3 years, and then you can actually find that you can get all those things, and they're available, just not on the mainstream. You got to go to a certain shop for that. Like you said, no garbage disposal, as in like you're talking like waste disposal in the sinks.
Yes.
That type of thing. Yes. Yeah. Which, incinerators available in New Zealand.
Yeah, we've got one, haven't we?
Yeah, we have one at home. And everyone says, you can't put them in a septic tank. Well, yes, you can. You just have to clean your septic tank.
Oh, I think, we knew they existed. They're just not in the rental.
Exactly.
Yeah, just not in the rental.
No, and I totally agree with you. It is funny things, yeah. But coming from England, the sinks were similar, so that's fine. The showers a little bit bigger, and the water pressure seems to be a bit better.
I'm guessing everything's bigger than it was in England.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Do you know, it's so funny because since we've spent time in America, we have really, really noticed how big everything is here. Like the roads are so wide. The houses are so big, like your washing machines are really big, everything's big. And again,
when you're used to that.
Yeah, exactly.
You think that's normal.
Yeah.
Not realizing it's bigger than everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, one of the biggest things people say in the Slack group was, I've just bought a heat pump tumble dryer, and they go, it takes 3 hours to dry the clothes. And how is that energy efficient? And I have to say, well, it's a heat pump and it does this, this, and this. But so you have to trade one thing for the other, which is like 15 minutes to dry your clothes or 3 hours. It's it's all that, isn't it? It takes a lot of getting used to.
I spent a lot of time over researching dryers when I first got here, believe me.
Yeah. The heat pumps are the way to go, but not everybody wants to wait that long. And
from what my understanding too is that they've improved and they don't take as long as they used to. So when people talk about that on the Slack, those are probably older versions that took a long time. Ours takes a little longer than it used to in the States, but not horribly longer.
Yeah.
Do you dry your clothes? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
We are not hanging clothes.
Why? What is it with Americans that they won't hang their clothes out on the line? Why?
It takes time.
It takes forever, and you have to worry about the weather, and the weather prediction here isn't very good, so they're probably going to get rained on.
And they come out crunchy.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. Yes, but
you have to crack the towels.
Oh,
don't you?
But there's nothing better than
sandpaper. You don't need an exfoliator, do you?
Oh no, I love sheets that have been dried on the line. I love it. Yeah, but
you do. You like the smell of them.
I do. But I don't see any in America. When we were in America, I didn't see any washing lines out and blowing.
We did that when I was a kid, and I think my mother hated it too, and was so happy when we got a dryer.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you two then? So you've moved to New Zealand. Have you changed? Because you're talking about, you haven't got this cloud of politics over you anymore. You don't worry about the big things in life. Is that New Zealand that's done that for you? Or is it your mindset since you moved to New Zealand?
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both too. And I think even now, though, it's hard for us not to continue to watch American politics on YouTube and stuff and kind of keep up with it. But I'm really trying to work us to get away from
Yeah.
I do keep up with the American politics on TV, but now it doesn't affect us. It's nice it doesn't affect us.
But we do have a little bit of that survivor's guilt feeling for our family that's still there. Friends
Do
and
you?
family.
Exactly,
Yeah.
So with those things that we've talked about as well, and everybody that wants to move to New Zealand talks about a lifestyle. What do you do different now in New Zealand that you did back in the US? And is it better or is it worse? Or, what is your lifestyle? Has it changed much?
I don't think so.
Yeah, not really. I think it's very similar. Other than maybe, not paying attention to the outside stuff as much as we used to, because it felt like it was going to hang over our head if we didn't know something that was going on. As we're here, I feel like maybe we can just focus on life a bit more and not have to worry so much about the bigger world going on. We still do to some degree because, we're at that age, in our 50s where we can't not watch news. I mean, it's it's something you have to do in your 50s. You just have to.
Of course. You just do.
With New Zealand being so much smaller than the States, even the news here is so much different in terms of topics, in terms of the areas that it covers.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. Like they'll be talking to an MP or something, and they'll just have them in the studio. Where in the States, I mean, there was so big and so many that it was always remote. There was never an face-to-face discussion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yes.
Hope, can I ask you, because Chris has come over and he's started work, and when the husband goes or the wife goes out to work and the partner isn't working, I for one I just didn't know what to do with myself, and I found it quite difficult. How have you coped with settling into a new life in New Zealand, and what do you do with your days, and how have you made friends and things like that?
We've been here almost 5 months. Still working on branching out and making friends. We have amazing neighbors.
For the first time in our lives.
And it is they are everything that I wanted. When I talked about it with you, Liz, like, yeah, I want a family. I want them to have kids so that I can be an aunt. Yeah. They have 3 kids, 5-year-old twins, and a 9-year-old. So we get to be auntie and uncle.
Oh, lovely.
And
lovely.
In terms of meeting other people, in a couple weeks, I will start a Maori language and culture class. Oh. So hopefully I'll meet more people.
Yes.
It
takes time.
They're telling me that the 5-year-olds have been asking about me all day. So.
Yeah. Oh, what a lovely thing. What a lovely thing.
Yeah.
That is real Kiwi spirit, that is. Yeah. And there's nothing grounds you to a place more than kids, because they just, you're just right in their world with them. So that is
the innocence of them, isn't it?
It is. That's so beautiful. I'm so happy that you're doing that. And I must admit, I look on you as like, the wiser ones in the Slack group that can pass on all this wisdom. Both Brian and I really appreciate it when you turn up for the live Zooms and, you're passing on all your wisdom to other people coming behind you. It's just, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's, really, really proud of you.
Pieces of wisdom.
You have a list of wisdom.
I hate to give unsolicited advice, but it's a list from our experiences. These are things to keep in mind.
And the thing that I was talking about in the Slack the other day was I'm kind of more or less writing our story of what we did and when, because I think there's a lot of items, maybe because I'm such an over planner, But if you think about certain things earlier and plan for those, from 3 months from now or 5 months from now, it'll just help you a lot more in the end if you think about these things ahead of time. And I'm hoping to, give some of that advice to those in the Slack, kind of like Charles and Mai's document. Something similar. I spent so much time researching bringing batteries and how to get batteries here on the plane. And in the end, we weren't able to bring our e-bike batteries. We couldn't find a way to do it. But I was able to bring my power tool batteries on the plane with us.
Oh, right.
As long as you know what you're doing,
it's the size of that 2,000 milliamps or whatever it is, isn't it? Like,
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, at one time, getting batteries for e-bikes, it was very hard to get them from the likes of AliExpress, because they had that big freeze on shipping batteries. But eventually, they must have a special plane now that you can bring them back over, because you seem to be able to ship them again. Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure.
From what we found is that I think the rules have just tightened up. Like right before we came, all of a sudden the battery rules got really, really tight.
Yeah.
And it seems like only people that had special licenses could do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we just couldn't find anyone who'd do that. My e-bike was actually like a well enough known brand. There were vendors here in New Zealand. I was able to get a bike for mine with no problem. Her bike we ended up just having to get rid of because we couldn't get the battery. Or they told us they could get the battery, but it was more than the bike was worth. So
exactly. No, that's true. Yeah. And just one thing, because we've talked about lifestyle and stuff. Seattle, I know Florida's weather. What's your weather been like in Tauranga? You've lived there for summer now, haven't you?
We've been in summer, and we got here at the tail end of autumn. And I've been saying from the beginning, it feels like a perfect mixture of both. Mm-hmm. Between geography and weather, it's weather, especially here in the summer, it's a little more like Florida. It's pretty warm.
Yeah.
And it's even more humid than Florida. And I didn't know that was even possible.
Oh, wow. And have you got AC in the house?
No.
We have one heat pump in the living room, and that's it. Sorry, the parlor, I think they call it here.
The parlor.
That's more an old English saying. Yeah.
I'm very interested to find out what winter is going to be like here. If it was anything like Seattle winter, it'll be great. No heavy coats needed, just a hoodie.
And from everything I've heard from the locals, it's probably not even going to be as cold as Seattle. So
no.
Yeah, no. I was having my haircut done by a Canadian guy that actually wants to move to New Zealand, and he just said, "I want to trade my snowboard for a surfboard and wear flip flops at least 8 months of the year." And I think that's very true about New Zealand, if not 11 months, or 10 and a half months maybe.
So
it's close to 12, isn't it?
Before we let you go, because I know that we've kept you quite a while now, but I'm just dying to know this. So I've got a question for each of you. Hope, you said that you would like to pass on your book of wisdom, your points of wisdom. I would like to ask you if you had one piece of wisdom to pass on to people who are coming along on the same journey, that want to move from their country, that want to move to New Zealand. What is the one piece of wisdom that you would give to them?
The one piece: celebrate every step forward that you make, no matter how small.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's so lovely. And why is that important?
I think it's what keeps you going. You have to notice how far ahead you've come from where you started, just to keep the momentum.
That's a great way of saying it. Yeah,
it really is.
You have to step back and go, where am I? Yeah, how far? Look how far we've come. Yeah, that's really good.
And I'd say the Zoom calls have always been super motivational for us.
You guys have been invaluable to us and the Slack group, giving us information and being able to pass that on.
The Slack group is hands down the best thing ever for people trying to move here.
Oh, that's so good to know. Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah.
And on your journey here now, whereabouts are you on getting to residency?
Honestly, I'm not sure. We were on a straight to residency visa, so my understanding is I think we're already residents, right?
We're residents. We're not permanent residents.
Right. Yeah.
We have just over a year and a half to go before we can apply for permanent residency.
Right. And at the moment, would you go for citizenship?
Probably.
I'm undecided about that.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Is that to do with
I'd say I'm undecided about renouncing citizenship from the U.S., but I'm definitely would like to probably at least be a dual citizen at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to relinquish your US citizenship, but you still have to fill up taxes and things, don't you?
That's exactly it.
Looking at all that right now since it's tax season.
Yeah. Chris, my question to you was, you were talking about all this planning that you've done. You're obviously a huge planner and it's paid off. Me and Hope are the same, and you and Brian are the same. You know, you like to have everything lined up and me and Hope are like, oh yeah, but the fairies will sort it out. It's fine. Like, you know, it's so
I've got some wings.
And I think that's why it really works. So my question to you, Chris.
It's Valentine's Day anyway.
My question to you, Chris, is what was one thing that you think, thank goodness I planned for that? That is, I'm so glad that I did that. What was it?
Wow, that's an interesting question.
And you can't say Toyota Highlander. We don't want to hear that.
Actually, you mentioned that. It actually really is a good one.
Yeah.
Damn, I knew you were going to say that.
Having the car ready as soon as we got here was very helpful. But I think if I could think of the biggest thing, it was probably the whole organizing where to be and at what times. Selling the house first, having the apartment available to us, being ready, and being in a temporary, kind of place so that when we got the call, when it was time, we could just up and go. We didn't have to break a lease and pay a lot of money or anything like that.
Yeah. I think that's the great way. I think that you did it, because we have a few people in the Slack group that have hung on a bit, got the job offer, and now they can't sell the house, or they can't get to that point where, like you did. It's just like, do you know what? Just sell the thing. We're going. If not, like you say, exactly. we'll go somewhere else. And I think that's a key point, isn't it? It's just like you have to make that big decision and go, this is it from now. Bump.
That was a big time saver.
I think that's the key. Is too many people try to hang on, like, just in case it doesn't work out. Like, if you're going to make the decision, jump in with both feet.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. And as you were talking that, as you were saying that, Brian, and you as well, it's just, it's not just like the physical holding on to the house, it's the emotional part that you're actually holding on to too, which makes it 10 times harder. So that is a really, really great point that you've just made, is like, we've sold the house. Now we'll wait for the job offer. I love that. It's a brave thing to do, though. It's a brave thing to do.
You're going to be so transient. You're going to be jumping from one place to the next over the next time that it is to New Zealand. Even when you get to New Zealand, you're going to be here and there. So you've got to get used to it straight away, haven't you? That's great.
And you'll find that after a couple months of not having your stuff available because it's being shipped, you open the boxes and
Christmas.
It's part Christmas and it's part, I have nowhere to put this and I don't have as much emotional attachment as I thought I did.
Exactly. Do you know what? I totally agree with you, Hope, because I've said on the Slack group before, people talk about shipping the containers and then they get insurance. And because we were just such cheapskates, we had a 40-foot container full of all our house back in the UK. Quad bikes and farm equipment, just everything we did, honestly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the marble tabletop, and we didn't get insurance on it. And I got to the point where I just thought, I don't care if it sinks, because I'm starting a new life. I don't care. And it wasn't the financial side of it that I had loads of money. I didn't. It was just, I don't care. And it was a bit like Christmas when we opened them up, like, and we could only open so much because we were in a rental until we built the house.
Right.
And that was like two years later that we started opening them up. It's like, oh, I forgot I had this. And it's almost like I don't have any. I don't know why we sent it, because I haven't got any emotional attachment to it. I'm glad I've got it now.
Yes.
Because I don't need to go and buy something else. But it's a funny old thing, isn't it?
It really is. And it is. It goes back to that thing of that emotional weight. It's huge. And when you let go of it, it's bliss. It's beautiful. It's like, oh, I'm free. Isn't it?
And then the buying things, like you were saying, Brian, things aren't as expensive here as we were fearing. It's really not that bad.
At least in terms of Seattle money.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the choice of things. I look at the kitchen equipment here in Canada, and when we were traveling in the US. I love some of the stuff that you have because it's just so good, but it's only 120 volts. You can't get it in 240 volts. So that's the thing that you do miss some of those things. When people say, oh, I've got my super Magimix blender, and I'm like, oh, big deal. And then you use one of the things, you think, it's really good, actually. I'm going to miss that.
I want a Magimix.
Or whatever it is, you know what I'm trying to say. The tumble dryer alone.
Yeah.
Like when I got rid of my Vitamix, you mean?
There you go.
Now, is there anything that we haven't asked you or we haven't covered that you're thinking, I really want the world to know this? Because now is the time to say if we've missed anything here with this chat.
Speaking of appliances, obviously we came over here with no appliances. Outlets are different. Chris was very, very good about getting converters and transformers and those kind of things. But appliance-wise, he did the research. A lot of our appliances now do double duty. Like
they do.
Our microwave also is an air fryer, is an oven. And then our blender is also a food processor. I guess what I'm saying is it really pays to do your research on everything.
Yes.
Kind of helps with those small sinks.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Dishwashers are smaller. No, it's like, yeah.
Oh my
For God's sake, bring a container filled with paper towels. That'll help you out when you get here as well.
We looked into buying paper towels on Amazon, and it costs what, like 3 times more to ship it than the item costs?
Yeah, it was like $80 for a large pack of paper towels, but it was going to be like $250 to ship it or something.
Yeah. It's not worth it, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Oh, you too.
I've
Thank
searched
you.
every avenue I could find to see if there was anywhere I could get bounty paper towels in New Zealand.
What I'll do is I'll get some from here, fold them up little sheets. All right, put them in an envelope for you, and when you can just get them out and go, look, that's the difference.
One at a time.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
You can dry them out.
thank you so
them in the tumble
much
dryer.
for joining us on this podcast. It's been absolutely lovely talking to you, and I honestly feel as if we've got so much more to say. There's so much that I want to talk to you about. I think we're going to need to do a part 2.
We'll do that when we come home.
Yeah, and when you've been, let's like give you a year or so and to settle down. I just know that you're just perfect for the country. You
It's what
really
New Zealand
are.
needs.
You've made it
It's-
home. Yeah, and it is. Yeah, and I love the fact that you're next door to those kids, and I just love it all. I think it's wonderful. It's got a real lovely ending to your. And I know it's not the end; it's just the beginning. But that part of your journey, and I also want to.
We're ever perfect for the U.S.,
No,
but I think we do feel perfect for here.
oh, that's
that's great.
lovely. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? How you just feel like. You're just not quite right for that country, and I don't know what that is. It's just.
And was Christmas all good? How did that
What's
go
that?
for you? What was Christmas like? The holidays, was that good for you?
We're so low key that it's almost just another day for us.
Yeah, we don't
But
do much for
because-
the holidays.
Because the kids were next door, it was fun with them.
Yeah. Oh,
We just went down to the beach for a while on Christmas.
No,
And had McDonald's for dinner.
perfect.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being such wonderful members of the NZ Ahead community over there on Slack. We really, really do cherish you, and we appreciate everything that you're passing on. Not just doing this podcast, but everything that you always pass on the Zooms, and you're just always there in your faces. It's just lovely to see. Really, really lovely. So from me, thank you so much, both of you. We'll see you in a week or so on our live Zoom, no doubt.
No, it's getting close to that next live Zoom, isn't it? Yeah. Thea, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing those wonderful stories and just insights and inspiration for people. And, like you say, the serendipity side of things, it's 100%, isn't it? So true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Take
Thanks
care.
for having us.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I wonder if, like me, you have sat in the GP's office waiting to see the doctor and thought, I wonder what they're doing in that office. I wonder what they're printing on that computer. Well, today you are going to find out.
We're so in need of doctors here. We have so many people that need care. What we're able to offer is 15 minutes in order to be able to give some degree of care to, the most amount of people. But
today you're going to meet someone who moved from the US with her GP husband to come and practice in New Zealand. She tells us all about what it's like to be a GP here in New Zealand, everything that goes on behind the scenes, the differences to the US, the challenges, the pluses, the bonuses, everything. So let's jump on in. This is a brilliant episode and find out what it's like to be a GP in New Zealand.